Hi, welcome back to Create Often. This is Jen Evans, and I'm here to show you a special way you can make a watercolor snowflake background for a card. For this card, I added some die cuts and stamped images, but for this video, we're just going to work on the background. Let's get our supplies. When I'm making cards like this, I want to use watercolor paper, and I'm using a 140-pound watercolor pad here, and I've cut it down to size for my card. I also love to use watercolor painter's tape I find in the art section of my craft store, and also you can use washi tape as well. I'm using this Tim Holtz Distress ink in peacock feathers with a blending tool. This is my favorite pen to use on dark colored paper, and especially on cards like this, and I'll link it in the description box below. And also Heidi Swapp's new foam snowflake stamp is perfect for this technique. Whenever you're doing a watercolor technique on paper for your cards, you're going to want to tape down your paper to your surface. I'm using a non-stick craft mat because I'm going to be doing some blending. What this does is when it gets wet, it makes sure that the paper actually doesn't stretch or ripple, and so you're actually holding the paper in place. You can use washi tape as well. Just make sure that when you do, that you take some of the sticky off by putting it on your pants a couple times so it doesn't rip your paper up when you take the tape off. So now it's time to add some distress ink. This distress ink by Tim Holtz and Ranger, it works really well with a watercolor technique. And so I'm using a blending tool, and I am just using circular motions to blend it all evenly onto my paper. I really love making sure that the entire surface for this background is evenly covered with ink. When you're done blending all this ink in, you're going to want to have your water mister handy and a paper towel. We're going to activate this ink with some water and the new Heidi Swapp snowflake stamp. When you mist the stamp, you're not going to want to mist over your work area because you don't want the water to get on the on your artwork, but you're going to mist off to the side and then stamp onto the ink. It's going to activate that ink, and it's going to make a little snowflake impression on it. You can do as many as you'd like. I like to do a few at the top, and hey, I got a little crazy. Let's put a few on the sides too. Now you're going to lay your paper towel onto your surface and pat dry so to remove any excess water off the page. Now I'm adding some flicks of water just to activate the ink again so that it kind of looks like snow falling. Now I just pat again with the paper towel to remove the water so it's dry, and it looks actually pretty awesome. I like it. What's cool about this technique is you can have a lot of these pieces of paper out and do them all in an assembly line, and each one of them is going to look different. Now with my white pigment ink pen, I'm going to be adding just some white spots to it just to make the snow pop a little bit more, and I'm adding it in some places that had some flicks that I really liked, or maybe some places that kind of missed a little bit of the water flicks, and we'll just add a little bit more to the background. Now that you're all done making your background, you can add a sentiment and make it super simple to the front, or you can get a little bit more detailed with some die cuts and stamped images as well. Thank you for joining me, and if you liked this card, give me a thumbs up and make sure to click to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. And until next time, create often.